So what do you say to all of the people that's women talking about they can't have kids, you know, that they can't have kids and all that stuff if they take the vaccine?
Okay, so Ricky, you know, one of the questions that had been asked was about whether the coronavirus and the COVID vaccine could affect fertility. And what we found out, there was a reasonable question about receptors in the placenta that were similar to the COVID virus spike protein. And once we found out that that was not the case, that there are receptors that are similar, but similar not being close enough. So the coronavirus vaccine does not attack or impact, and nor does it bind to those receptors in the placenta, which means it will have no negative impact on pregnancy. What we have found is over time that the pregnancy rates for women that have received the vaccine and women that have not received the vaccine has been the same and or greater. So women are getting pregnant, they're not having complications due to the coronavirus vaccine. So that myth has been effectively scientifically proven to be not correct. So please listen, you've heard the question being asked about the coronavirus and pregnancy. What you now know is that that is indeed not the case. And so please spread that message. Go to your social media and tell people, no, it does not impact pregnancy. You do not have to worry about it impacting your ability to conceive or have children in the future.
One of the things that with the new Delta variant, is that right?
Yes.
The Delta variant, if you've been vaccinated, how does the Delta variant affect? Or no, if you have antibodies, and how does that play into the Delta variant?
Okay, so two forms of immunity. Natural immunity, if you have been infected with the coronavirus and you now have natural antibodies, you are protected. But the vaccines have been shown to be very effective against the variants. There are 4 variants of concern currently. Delta being the most prevalent at this time, and also the Lambda variant. The Lambda variant is one you want to start hearing about in the news very, very quickly. But the Delta variant right now is the predominant variant in the United States, and it is more infectious, which means it's easier to pass on. It takes lower number of viral particles to spread from person to person, and the result of that is a more severity in your disease state if you get it. So you're going to be sicker and you're going to have poor outcomes. So individuals that have been effectively vaccinated, means you're 2 weeks past the 2-dose regimens of the Pfizer or the Moderna vaccine, or 2 weeks post even the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which are the 3 vaccines that are available now. You are protected. There's no deviations in the variants as far as its binding sites are concerned that limit the susceptibility to the virus, to the vaccine. So the antibodies you create because of the vaccines protect you from the variants at this time.
Have you ever had any patients that got infected, got very sick, then they was not vaccinated, but then they came begging to you to get vaccinated, but you had to tell them it was too late?
It's too late. And the reason why that is, the vaccine presents you developing the infection. It doesn't treat an active disease state. So once you are infected, the vaccine doesn't do you any good. If anything, it might harm you during that period of time that you, let's say 2 weeks, that you go through the disease state, because your body is manufacturing antibodies and that energy should be being utilized to fight the infection. So you can have that issue of concern. But for people that have not been infected, once you are infected, it's too late. And ultimately, you know, particularly those individuals that are very sick, they're being hospitalized, they're about to be placed on a ventilator, etc., they're begging for the vaccine at that point. All of a sudden, all those concerns about how quickly they made it, and I'm not sure about its safety profile, etc., all go out the window at that point. And then they want the vaccine as quickly as possible, but the vaccine won't help them. And patients don't understand that. And that's one of the reasons that we're having this information session. We want to make sure that people understand that the vaccine doesn't help you once you're infected.
It's preventive.
Wow. Well, but if you have antibodies, one of those variants can still, if you have antibodies but you have not been vaccinated, one of those variants can still get you into the disease stage.
Well, we have not seen that happening as of now, but what we do know is that if you have been vaccinated, you are better protected against the variants. The whole point of the vaccines creating variants, that's Mother Nature trying to find a way. It's altering the vaccine so that it can get around the human immune system. So that is what it's responding to. It's not responding to the vaccinated individuals. It's responding to people that have had and been infected with the coronavirus, and now they have natural immunity, natural antibodies, and Mother Nature is trying to find a way to get around that. The coronavirus is trying to change so that it can get around your natural immunity. At this point, the variants are not doing that. But you are much better protected if you have had any of the vaccines that are available. But particularly the 2-dose Moderna and Pfizer vaccines, they seem very effective against the variants as we see them today. But some of the variants have 4 mutations, some of them have 7 mutations. The Lambda variant has multiple mutations as well, all on the spike proteins that should alter the binding of the virus to the human cells. And so the stronger the virus can bind to the human cells, the more infectious it is and the more opportunities you have to get the disease state and to become sicker.
Wow. Make sure y'all check out Dr. MJ Collier every morning on the RSMS